Joining me now is Bob King. He's the former president of the United Auto Workers Union. He's a lecturer at the University of Michigan LSA Residential College. Bob, good to see you. Thank you for being with us this morning. This weekend, the UAW has expanded its strike from 3 plants to 38 additional warehouses in 20 states. According to the Associated Press, that's only about 12% of your union's membership, which means that there's a lot more headway to expand these strikes to a larger scale. But it's it's a different type of strike than there used to be, which means you don't even have to have everybody on strike to entirely shutter the auto industry in the United States.
Well, it certainly has an impact on the companies. I think it's a brilliant strategy that the UAW leadership is implementing extremely well.
Let's talk about what has to happen here. The auto companies are losing money as this happens. There are knock-on effects, which is why the president is getting involved in this thing. But the president, unlike in previous administrations where they send the labor secretary and other advisors to the negotiating table to try and secure a settlement, the president is doing something different here. He's going to be with the strikers. He's chosen a side on this one. He's putting his thumb on the scale in favor of the UAW. Tell me what that means to you.
I think for everybody in the labor movement, it means a lot. It's historic, as you know. No president has ever been on the picket line while he's serving a term of office. So it's very exciting. It needs to be followed up by policy initiatives. I mean, if we want manufacturing competitive, we need sectoral bargaining legislation. We need Medicare for all. And we're really, really happy. And I think the whole labor movement is excited about the president coming to the picket line.
One of the things we saw in the Teamsters' proposed strike against UAW, which ended up with them getting many of the concessions that they actually wanted, was these larger than expected requests for wage increases. And when confronted with that, the Teamsters said, well, that's what the bosses get. That's what the CEOs get. Same thing with the UAW. Shawn Fain has said, take a look at what the executives of Stellantis and GM and Ford have received over a series of years. Of course, those executives, or Mary Barra from GM, came back and said, well, that's not really all my salary. You know, my salary is only a little part of that. It's only a couple $1 million. The $27 million extra is performance bonuses. I don't know how that goes over with the average union worker, that I only make $2 million, but I make $27 million in performance bonuses, because that's not how it works for people who build cars.
You're absolutely right. People either laugh at it or get really angry about it. You know, these workers, and remember, all they're trying to do is recoup what they gave in sacrifices to save these companies. These companies wouldn't have this astronomical profitability if it was not for the sacrifice of these workers. And for the workers to recoup what they want is extremely reasonable. I don't think these are huge demands, really. They're just about recouping what workers have lost. And as President Fain has said, the manufacturing cost of a vehicle, only, 5% of that, 7% of that is labor cost. These companies can more than afford to do what the members are asking for. That's the other important point. Why is President Fain a good president, a great president, really? Why is he doing such a great job? Because he's saying what the membership is saying. It's not reversed. He's echoing their anger, their frustration, their demand for decent standard of living in this extremely profitable industry.
Sure, Shawn Fain has said something interesting. Somebody said to him, or he said to, I don't know where the conversation was, but he said to somebody, if somebody tells me one more time, I want to live to fight another day, let's let this go, take the deal you can get, end the strike so that you don't have layoffs and live to fight another day. He said, this is the day. We're not living to fight another day. I talked to a union leader yesterday, Lindsay Doherty, who said, you fight another day, so you take one on the chin, and then they beat you again on the chin the next time, and they beat you again on the chin. At some point, we have to say, this is the time. This is the time for us to share in the spoils that you have all enjoyed for these last several years.
That's absolutely right. I've been maybe 5 or 6 hours on the picket line at Local 900, UAW Ford location in Michigan. Up and down, I've talked to hundreds and hundreds of workers. They're all saying that this is our time. We have suffered with low wages. I've talked to people that were on temporary for 3 years, for 6 years. Even a member was on temporary for 10 years with these extremely profitable corporations. That's just criminal to me. You can't be more immoral than to treat workers like that. So workers are definitely saying this is our time. And hopefully it comes together quickly, but whether it comes together quickly or not, these workers, I'm so proud of them. They're going to be there for the fight for however long it takes to get the contract they deserve.
However, right now, an interesting thing has happened, really since the 80s, where we saw in 1981 an all-out assault on labor unions, starting with the firing of the air traffic controllers. We are seeing increasing percentages of support among all Americans, not just for labor unions, but for the specific work stoppages underway. There was support for the UPS strike that didn't happen. There's support for the American Airlines flight attendant strike that hasn't happened. There's support for WGA, for SAG-AFTRA, and for UAW. As a former union leader, as a leader yourself, do you worry about extended strikes and whether they have an impact? Because the auto industry affects people differently than the writers' strike affects people.
Well, of course, you worry about the whole economy, but I guess my view, and I think this is the American public, we're sick and tired of these corporations being so wealthy, just the CEOs, the very top executives getting these astronomical bonuses and pay. People are sick and tired of it. That's 75% in one Gallup poll support the workers. I think the UAW communications team has done a fantastic job of helping the public understand why this is a fight for them. Every single Facebook Live I've seen President Fain do, he talks about this being not just a fight for UAW members, but a fight for all workers in America. And I think that's why there's such broad public support, because the American public understands that this is a fight to raise all workers' wages, not just our UAW members.
Bob, you're a lecturer at a university. There's a reason why the companies don't want to listen to this rationale, though, right? Because if they give a little, and UPS did, by the way, the seal was broken in that the UPS agreed that you Teamsters deserve what would look like a disproportionate hike because we have that kind of money and we do give it to our senior executives. But there's a real reason why corporate America does not want this to be the reality. The idea is we depend on paying workers as absolutely little as we can to cause them to not leave their jobs, right? That's the way America has operated. It operated that way right after slavery ended. We pay as little as we can to keep people in their jobs, and if we can, we outsource those jobs. This is a sea change. If the UAW gets the 30+% increases it's looking for, it changes the game for every worker in America.
Absolutely right, Ellie. Absolutely right. That's what it's about. It's about, are we going to have a better balance of wealth and income? Are we going to have a better balance of power in this country? Are we going to have a democracy in this country? To me, all that's on the line here. If workers are in poverty, abject poverty, if workers are being exploited, you don't really have a democracy, in my view. When the UAW members were being well paid, they're active in the political system. When workers are in poverty, having to work 2, 3, 4 jobs, very hard for them to vote, very hard for them to participate in democracy. There's a lot on the line with these fights, both that the UAW is taking on, the Teamsters are taking on, the actors are taking on, the writers are taking on. People across America are fed up. They want a fair country. They want a fair society.
We're talking about the president coming there on Tuesday. It's the first sitting president going to the picket lines. You also got Donald Trump on Wednesday. He's dodging his own debate, but he is here for the workers of America and the UAW, and he's giving a speech to that end. Your thoughts?
We've seen this before, right? In the last election, he went down to Lordstown. I'm still angry about this. He told those workers, don't sell your home, Don't move. I'm going to save this plant. He didn't lift a baby finger. He's done nothing really to help workers. He hasn't been there for us. Even when workers at his own casinos tried to organize, he fought them. He never wanted exactly what you said. He exploited workers to the greatest extent he could with terrible wages and benefits. He's not a friend of workers. He's not a friend of labor.